All right, let's dive into the new global standard for sustainability assurance, ISSA 5000. Now, we're not going to cover the whole thing today. Instead, we're zeroing in on where it all begins, the planning and risk assessment phase. You know this is the foundation for any good engagement, so let's get right to it.
You know, for all the seasoned auditors watching, this slide really gets to the heart of it. We're all experts at planning financial audits, right? But ISSA 5000, it's asking for more than just a new checklist. It's really demanding a fundamental shift in our perspective. We have to rethink what risk even looks like, what materiality means, and what a solid plan is in this whole new context.
And there it is, the document itself. This is the new global benchmark from the IASB, ISSA 5000. Is designed to be that single, go-to rulebook for pretty much all sustainability topics and frameworks. So mastering its planning requirements, well, it's not really an option, is it? It's absolutely essential if you want to provide credible assurance.
Okay, let's kick things off with our first section, Crafting Your Engagement Strategy. And that subtitle says it all. We have to get beyond the financial statement mindset. We're about to explore how those core planning principles we know so well are being stretched and really adapted for the unique world of sustainability info.
Now, this quote from the standard, it should feel pretty familiar, right? The whole point of planning hasn't changed a bit. It's still all about being effective and efficient. What has changed, though, is the kind of potential problems we're looking for. We're stepping out of the clean world of debits and credits and into the much messier world of carbon emissions, supply chain ethics, and, biodiversity impact.
So naturally, these benefits become even more critical here. Devoting attention to important areas? Yeah, that now means figuring out which ESG topics are actually material to stakeholders. Identifying problems early? That could be realizing your client's water usage data is all based on shoddy estimates, not actual meters. And coordinating with experts? Get ready, because you'll likely be working with engineers, climate scientists, or human rights specialists way more often.
And hey, just like in a financial audit, some things don't change. The ultimate responsibility for the plan, the strategy, and for complying with this new standard, it rests squarely on the shoulders of the engagement leader. You can delegate tasks, sure, but you can't delegate accountability. The buck absolutely still stops with you.
Okay, this brings us to what is, honestly, one of the biggest conceptual shifts in the entire standard, materiality. Under ISSA 5000, we have to look at materiality through what they call a double lens, and that means seeing what matters from two totally distinct perspectives.
So first, let's just nail down the basic definition. It all hinges on influencing the decisions of intended users. Again, sounds familiar. But think about it. The intended users for a sustainability report, we're talking investors, customers, employees, regulators, the community, they care about so much more than just the financial bottom line. And that one simple fact changes everything.
And this slide just breaks it down perfectly. On the left, you've got financial materiality. Think of it as the outside-in view. So how do climate risks affect the company's value? That's our comfort zone. But on the right, you have impact materiality, the inside-out view. Here, the question is, how does the company's business impact the planet and its people? You have to assess both now. This is a real game changer.
So that leads to a pretty critical question, doesn't it? If we're looking at things like societal impact, we can't just plug numbers into a formula. So what makes a sustainability disclosure material when you go beyond the spreadsheet? This is where our professional judgment, guided by the standard, becomes absolutely essential.
And this is just a brilliant illustration of that shift. Look at severity of impact. A small chemical spill might be financially tiny, but if it devastates a local ecosystem, it's hugely material from an impact perspective. Or think about overall tone. Is the company's language just a little too glossy? Is it greenwashing? These qualitative factors, they demand a whole new level of critical thinking from us.
All right, so we've got our strategy. We've wrapped our heads around this new idea of materiality. So how do we actually put it into practice? Section 3 gets into the nitty-gritty, assessing sustainability risks, and specifically how we find those risks of material misstatement.
The process itself is going to look really familiar. It's grounded in the same audit logic we use every day. You understand the entity, you understand its controls, and you look at its own risk process. The difference is the substance of each step. Understanding the environment now means getting up to speed on climate scenarios. And understanding internal controls? Well, that means digging into the systems for non-financial data, which, let's be honest, are often way less mature than the financial systems we're used to.
And at the end of the day, the goal is exactly the same. The whole reason we do all this work is to get an understanding that's deep enough to spot and assess the risks of material misstatement. And it doesn't matter if that misstatement is a wrong number in an emissions table or a misleading sentence about their diversity program, your procedures have to be sharp enough to catch it.
Pay close attention to this quote because it's absolutely crucial. It creates a direct line between your client's internal processes and your own engagement risk. What it's saying is, if you find that your client is weak at spotting their own sustainability risks, that is a massive red flag for you. It means there's a huge risk that their reporting is incomplete, that they've completely missed topics they should be reporting on. That's a huge risk of material misstatement by omission.
Okay, so let's pull this all together. What does this actually mean for you, the practitioner? The goal here isn't to learn a new job from scratch. It's about applying the core skills you already have, that auditor's mindset, in this new and challenging context.
Let's just boil it down to 4 things. First, your scope is broader. Your plan now has to cover qualitative claims and forward-looking info, not just historical numbers. Second, you have to master double materiality. You've got to be able to think about impact on the company and by the company. It's a huge shift. Third, you're evaluating new controls over non-financial data. That means getting out of the finance department and talking to people in operations. And finally, remember that your client's process is your risk. If their risk assessment is weak, your engagement risk goes way up.
So we'll end with this question. Look, your experience with professional skepticism, with gathering evidence, with assessing risk, that's the foundation for all of this. ISA 5000 isn't telling you to throw out what you know. It's asking you to build on top of it. So the real question is, are you ready to start building the new structure for the future of assurance?